What you're about to hear will shake you to your core. December 2025, a date that will live in infamy in professional wrestling history. While families were still celebrating the holidays, while kids were playing with their Christmas presents, WWE just delivered the most controversial, most shocking, most absolutely disrespectful moment in modern wrestling history. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre. Yes, that Drew McIntyre, defeating Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship on Friday Night SmackDown. And if you think this was just another title change, you haven't been paying attention. This wasn't just a match, this was a robbery. This was a betrayal. This was WWE spitting in the face of every single fan who believed in the American Nightmare. Buckle up, Wrestle Scope family, because what I'm about to reveal will make your blood boil. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. Let me take you back. Let me paint you the picture of just how we got here, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. This was calculated, this was planned, and honestly, it reeks of backstage politics at its absolute worst. Cody Rhodes, the man who came back to WWE with one mission, one single mission, finish the story. And he did, didn't he? WrestleMania 40, defeating Roman Reigns, finally capturing that undisputed championship that his father never held. It was poetic, it was emotional, it was everything wrestling is supposed to be about. Since that glorious night in Philadelphia, Cody has been exactly what a champion should be, defending that title with honor, showing up every single week, taking on all comers, from AJ Styles to Logan Paul, from Silla Sikoa to LA Knight. Cody Rhodes has been the fighting champion that WWE desperately needed after 4 years of Roman Reigns' part-time reign. But here's where it gets interesting, and by interesting, I mean infuriating. Drew McIntyre has been spiraling. After losing to CM Punk at WrestleMania 40, then losing again at SummerSlam, then losing again at Bash in Berlin, Drew has been on this self-destructive path of blaming everyone but himself. He's been bitter, he's been angry, he's been acting like the world owes him something. And apparently, WWE agreed with him. Throughout November and December, we saw Drew inserting himself into Cody's business. Week after week, sneak attacks, Claymore kicks out of nowhere, beatdowns after successful title defenses. The writing was on the wall, but we all hoped that WWE wouldn't be this predictable, that they wouldn't take the title off Cody this quickly, that they wouldn't destroy all that WrestleMania momentum for a guy who's been losing every major match for the past 9 months. But on December 26th, the day after Christmas, WWE said, hey, you know what the fans want? Let's do the exact opposite. Now let's talk about this match, this absolute travesty of a championship contest that WWE had the audacity to put on national television. The match was announced just 72 hours before SmackDown. 72 hours. Can you imagine your undisputed WWE champion, the top title in the company, being defended on 3 days' notice on a random episode of SmackDown the day after Christmas? No pay-per-view build, no month-long storyline, no video packages explaining why this match needed to happen now? Just Nick Aldis coming out on the December 23rd episode saying, Drew McIntyre, you'll face Cody Rhodes for the championship this Friday. Are you kidding me right now? This is the same company that makes us sit through months of build-up for Royal Rumble matches, the same company that stretches storylines until WrestleMania, but for one of the most significant title changes in recent memory, 3 days' notice. The match itself started with Drew McIntyre looking more aggressive than we've seen him in years, and credit where credit is due, these two are fantastic performers. They put on a physical, hard-hitting contest that had the Colorado crowd on their feet. Cody was doing what Cody does best, selling like his life depended on it, making Drew look like an absolute monster. Big boots, Claymore kicks, power slams, Drew was unleashing everything. Cody fought back with crossroads after crossroads, but Drew kept kicking out. The resilience, the determination. It was actually compelling television, until it wasn't. Around the 15-minute mark, we saw Silla Sikoa's music hit. The tribal chief of the new bloodline, the man who's been feuding with Cody for months, started making his way down the ramp with Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. The distraction was obvious. Cody turned his attention to the ramp, arguing with the referee, telling him to get them out of there. And that's when Kevin Owens appeared. Kevin Owens. Let that name sit with you for a moment. The man who was Cody's friend, the man who stood by Cody's side against the bloodline, the man who we thought had Cody's back through thick and thin. Kevin Owens slid into the ring while Cody was distracted by Silla Sikoa, and he delivered a sickening package piledriver to the undisputed champion. The thud echoed through the Ball Arena in Denver. The crowd went from cheering to shocked silence in a heartbeat. The bloodline retreated, Kevin Owens rolled out of the ring with this disgusting smirk on his face, and Drew McIntyre, who was supposedly down and out in the corner, suddenly had a burst of energy. He crawled over to Cody's lifeless body, draped an arm over him, and the referee counted. 1, 2, 3. New undisputed WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. The Ball Arena erupted in boos. Not heel heat, not we love to hate you boos. Genuine anger, genuine disappointment. The kind of reaction that tells you the audience feels disrespected.
And here's what makes this even worse. After the match, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Solo Sikoa stood in the ring together. They didn't attack each other. They stood there, looking at Cody's broken body, and smiled. Smiled. Are you starting to see the picture here? This wasn't just a title change. This was a conspiracy. This was three men who've had issues with each other for months, suddenly deciding that they hate Cody Rhodes more than they hate each other. Let me break down exactly why this is one of the worst booking decisions WWE has made in years, and trust me, that's saying something. Reason number 1, Cody's reign was just getting started. 8 months. Cody Rhodes held that title for 8 months. Do you know how long Roman Reigns held it? 1,316 days. That's over 3.5 years. But Cody, the man who ended that reign, the man who was supposed to usher in a new era, gets less than a year? This is the definition of short-term booking. WWE got scared. They saw the ratings, they saw the social media metrics, and they panicked. Instead of building Cody into a long-term champion who could carry the company for years, they hit the panic button and went back to what they always do. Shock value over substance. Reason number 2. Drew McIntyre doesn't need this. I'm going to say something controversial. I like Drew McIntyre. The man is talented, he's charismatic, he's a workhorse. But he did not need this title right now. His story for the past year has been about his obsession with CM Punk, about his failures, about his descent into darkness. That's a complete story that didn't need the championship to validate it. By putting the title on Drew in this way, WWE has essentially said, your storyline doesn't matter, your character development doesn't matter. We need a title change for shock value, so here you go. It's lazy, it's uninspired, and it makes Drew look like an afterthought champion who only won because of help from 2 other guys. Reason number 3. Kevin Owens' turn makes no sense. Kevin Owens has been one of Cody's most loyal allies. They've tag teamed together, they fought the bloodline together. Kevin has cut multiple promos about how much he respects Cody and what Cody represents. And now, with 0 build-up, 0 foreshadowing, 0 hints, Kevin just turns on him? Good heel turns are built over time. Stone Cold turning at WrestleMania 40 had months of build-up. Seth Rollins breaking up the Shield had weeks of tension. But Kevin Owens, he was smiling and hugging Cody on the December 20th SmackDown, and then 7 days later he's pile-driving him? That's not storytelling. That's a plot twist for the sake of having a plot twist. It's the wrestling equivalent of a cheap jump scare in a horror movie. Reason number 4. The timing is disrespectful. December 26th, the day after Christmas, a show that historically has lower viewership because people are traveling, spending time with family, still in holiday mode. WWE chose this date to make one of the biggest title changes of the year? This tells you everything you need to know about how WWE views its audience. They're not trying to create memorable WrestleMania moments. They're not trying to build to a satisfying conclusion at a major pay-per-view. They're chasing that social media buzz, that WWE Championship changes hands on SmackDown headline, without caring about the long-term damage to Cody's character and credibility. Reason number 5. This undermines everything WrestleMania 40 built. WrestleMania 40 wasn't just another show, it was the culmination of a 2-year story. Cody leaving AEW, returning to WWE, getting injured, coming back, winning the Royal Rumble, facing adversity, and finally defeating Roman Reigns with the help of The Undertaker's entrance and the Tribal Chief's own hubris. That moment meant something. It meant that hard work pays off. It meant that good guys can win. It meant that sometimes the story has a happy ending. And WWE just took that moment and said, never mind. 8 months is enough. Let's move on. The internet has been melting down since this happened, and rightfully so. Twitter, or X or whatever we're calling it now, has been flooded with angry fans. The hashtag #NotMyChampion has been trending worldwide. Fans are posting their WrestleMania 40 ticket stubs, their Cody Rhodes merchandise, pictures of themselves crying at WrestleMania when Cody won, all with captions like, "This is why I'm done with WWE, and they've ruined wrestling again." Reddit's wrestling communities are in absolute chaos. The SmackDown live thread had over 15,000 comments, and I'd estimate 90% of them were negative. People are calling this the worst booking decision since Kofi Kingston's 5-second loss to Brock Lesnar. Others are comparing it to when Daniel Bryan was stripped of the title in 2014. Some are even saying this is worse than those moments because at least those had storyline justifications. YouTube wrestling channels bigger than mine, channels with millions of subscribers, are putting out emergency videos. Everyone from What Culture to Cultaholic to Wrestling with Regret is expressing their disappointment and confusion. And even the mainstream media is picking this up, with ESPN and Sports Illustrated running articles questioning WWE's creative direction. And the rating? The overnight numbers came in and SmackDown did a 2.1 rating with 2.3 million viewers. Now WWE's PR team is going to spin this as a success. See, the title change drew viewers. But here's what they're not going to tell you. That number is down from the previous week, down from the December holiday average. People tuned out after the main event. The viewership dropped by 400,000 people in the final segment. You know what that means? People turned off their TVs in disgust. They didn't stick around for the celebration. They didn't wait to see Drew's promo. They just left. That's not engagement. That's not heat. That's apathy. And apathy is the worst thing a wrestling company can generate. I want to take a moment to address something important here, because this isn't just about wrestling. This is about the relationship between a company and its fans. When Cody Rhodes returned to WWE in 2022, he brought with him a wave of goodwill. Fans who had given up on WWE came back. Lapsed viewers started watching again. People bought tickets to live events just to see Cody. The merchandise sales were through the roof. And it wasn't just about Cody the performer. It was about what Cody represented. He represented the idea that WWE was changing. That WWE was going to listen to fans. That WWE was going to tell stories that made sense, instead of stories designed to swerve us or subvert our expectations. When Cody Rhodes won at WrestleMania 40, it felt like a new era. It felt like WWE was finally getting it right. They have their top babyface, they have their long-term champion, they had their John Cena replacement, their next-generation face of the company. And then, 8 months later, they took it all away. This isn't just bad booking. This is a betrayal of trust. WWE ups us to invest in Cody's story. They asked us to buy tickets, buy merchandise, watch every week. They asked us to believe. And then they pulled the rug out from under us for a cheap shock moment. I've been reading comments on my videos on other channels in wrestling forums, and there's a common theme: exhaustion. Fans are tired of being jerked around. They're tired of investing in stories only to have them abandoned or subverted. They're tired of WWE treating them like they don't matter. Some fans are saying they're done. They're going to cancel their Peacock subscriptions, stop buying tickets, stop watching. Others are saying they'll give WWE one more chance, one more opportunity to fix this, but the goodwill is gone. The trust is broken. And here's the thing WWE doesn't seem to understand. Once you lose that trust, it's almost impossible to get it back. West Coast learned this lesson in 2000. TNA learned it in 2010. WWE should have learned it multiple times over the past 2 decades, but they keep making the same mistakes. Comparing to other promotions, you know what makes this even more frustrating? Look at what other wrestling companies are doing right now. AEW, despite all its problems and criticisms, has been building long-term stories. MJF's title reign lasted